Imagine waking up at 25, feeling like you've already run a marathon, but the finish line is nowhere in sight. For many in Gen Z, this isn't just a passing thought, it's a daily struggle. We scroll through our feeds, coffee in hand, eyes heavy with fatigue, and it hits us, we're exhausted. Burnout is no longer just a buzzword, it's a reality for countless young adults. Studies show that nearly 60% of Gen Z report feeling overwhelmed by anxiety and stress. We're juggling school, work, and the pressure to maintain a perfect online persona. It's like we're in a race with no clear winner, and the finish line keeps moving further away. Social media plays a huge role in this. We're constantly bombarded with images of success, happiness, and perfection. It's hard not to compare ourselves to others when it feels like everyone else is thriving while we're just trying to get out of bed. The irony? The more we connect online, the more isolated we feel. Then there's the financial burden. Student loans, rising living costs, and a job market that feels like a game of musical chairs. We're told to hustle, to grind, to be the best version of ourselves. But what happens when that hustle turns into a never-ending cycle of exhaustion? And let's not forget about the impact of the pandemic. It forced us to rethink our priorities, but it also intensified feelings of uncertainty and fear. Many of us lost jobs, loved ones, or simply the sense of normalcy. The emotional toll is staggering, and it's no wonder we're feeling burnt out. So, what can we do? First, we need to acknowledge that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take a step back and breathe. We need to prioritize our mental health, set boundaries, and redefine what success looks like for us. Let's start having honest conversations about our struggles. Let's support each other in finding balance and reclaiming our joy. Because the prime of life shouldn't feel like a breaking point, it should be a time of growth, exploration, and fulfillment. It's time to rewrite the narrative and take back our lives. Burnout isn't just about feeling tired. It's a complex state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that creeps in after prolonged, chronic stress. Imagine waking up every day feeling like you're dragging a heavy weight behind you, even when you've had a full night's sleep. That's burnout. The symptoms can be subtle at first. You might notice persistent fatigue that doesn't go away, no matter how much rest you get. You start to feel cynical about your work or even life itself. Things that once brought you joy, like hobbies or spending time with friends, suddenly feel like chores. You might find yourself emotionally numb, going through the motions without really feeling anything. And motivation? It's like a distant memory. Studies show that over 25% of Americans under 30 report feeling burnt out most days. That's staggering. It's not just a buzzword, it's a reality for many. And it's not just confined to the workplace. College students, who are often juggling classes, jobs, and social lives, are feeling the pressure too. Experts are now saying that burnout used to be something we associated with people in their 40s or 50s, but now it's hitting younger generations hard. We're seeing it in people in their early 20s, even in college students who are supposed to be in one of the most vibrant and energetic phases of their lives. So, what's happening? The demands of modern life are relentless. The pressure to succeed, to keep up with social media, to excel academically or professionally, it's overwhelming. And when you're constantly connected, it's hard to switch off. The lines between work and personal life blur, making it difficult to find that much-needed balance. Recognizing burnout is the first step. If you're feeling persistently fatigued, cynical, or emotionally numb, it's time to take a step back. It's okay to admit that you're struggling. You don't have to push through it alone. Seeking help, whether it's talking to a friend, a counselor, or a mental health professional, can make a world of difference. Remember, taking care of your mental health is just as important as your physical health. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength to acknowledge when you need support. Prioritize self-care, set boundaries, and don't be afraid to say no. You deserve to feel energized and passionate about life again. Burnout might be a tough battle, but it's one that can be fought and won. Every month feels like a race against time and bills. I wake up, and the first thing I see is my phone lighting up with notifications: rent is due, credit card payments are overdue, and don't even get me started on student loans. It's like a never-ending cycle of financial pressure that just keeps piling up. I graduated with a degree, thinking it would open doors for me. Instead, I'm faced with a job market that offers entry-level positions with wages that barely cover my rent, let alone any savings. I'm working 2 jobs just to make ends meet, and even then, it feels like I'm treading water. I clock in at one job, rush to the next, and by the time I get home, I'm too exhausted to even think about budgeting. Every month, I watch my paycheck disappear before I even have a chance to enjoy it. Rent prices are skyrocketing, and it feels like landlords are raising them just because they can. I'm living in a tiny apartment, and still, I'm barely scraping by. I can't help but feel the weight of anxiety creeping in. How am I supposed to build a future when I'm constantly worried about making rent, and then there are the bills? They stack up on my kitchen table like a mountain I can't climb. Utilities, groceries, and those pesky student loans that haunt me every time I check my bank account. I thought getting a degree would mean financial freedom, but it feels more like a financial anchor dragging me down. I've tried to save, really, I have. But every time I think I'm getting ahead, an unexpected expense pops up, a car repair, a medical bill, or even just the cost of living that keeps rising. It's exhausting. I find myself lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I'm going to make it through the next month without drowning in debt. I know I'm not alone in this struggle. Many of my friends are in the same boat, juggling multiple jobs, trying to find ways to cut costs, and still feeling like they're falling short. It's a collective anxiety that's hard to shake off. We're all just trying to survive, but it feels like the odds are stacked against us. Burnout is real, and it's creeping in. I see it in my friends, and I feel it in myself. The constant pressure to perform, to earn, to save, it's overwhelming. Sometimes, I wonder if this is what adulthood is supposed to feel like. I just want to find a way to breathe, to enjoy life a little, but the financial burden feels like a heavy chain I can't break free from. So here I am, navigating this chaotic world of bills and responsibilities, hoping that one day, I'll find a way to not just survive, but to thrive. Until then, I'll keep pushing through, one paycheck at a time, dreaming of a future where financial stability isn't just a distant hope but a reality I can reach out and touch. I remember growing up with this idea that hustle culture was the ultimate path to success. We were told to grind now and shine later, but what happens when the shine never comes? Instead, we find ourselves in a constant state of exhaustion, battling burnout before we even hit our prime. Every day feels like a race. The pressure to be always on is suffocating. Late-night emails have become the norm, and if I'm not checking my phone at midnight, I feel like I'm falling behind. It's like we've traded our peace of mind for the fear of being replaced. The irony? We're working harder than ever, yet we're more replaceable than we've ever been. Remote work was supposed to give us freedom, but instead, it blurred the lines between work and life. I can't remember the last time I had a day off without guilt creeping in. Even vacations feel like a checklist of tasks I should be accomplishing. I scroll through social media, seeing friends posting about their latest achievements, and it just adds to the pressure. It's a competition that never ends. We've been conditioned to think that overworking is a badge of honor. But what about the toll it takes on our mental health? The anxiety that comes with the constant need to prove ourselves? It's exhausting. I see my peers struggling, feeling like they're on a hamster wheel, running fast but getting nowhere. And let's talk about boundaries. What are those? We're expected to be available 24/7, and if we dare to take a break, we're met with judgment. Must be nice to take a day off, they say, as if rest is a luxury we can't afford. But the truth is, we can't afford not to rest. Our productivity suffers, our creativity dwindles, and our happiness? It's practically non-existent. I grew up hearing that hard work leads to success, but what they didn't tell us is that it can also lead to breakdowns. We're not machines, we're human beings. We need time to recharge, to reflect, to just be. The hustle culture has backfired, and it's time we recognize that success isn't just about grinding. It's about balance, about knowing when to push and when to pull back. So, what do? We start by redefining success. It's not just about the accolades or the paycheck, it's about our well-being. It's about creating a life where we can thrive, not just survive. We need to challenge the narrative that tells us we must always be hustling. Let's embrace rest, prioritize our mental health, and remember that it's okay to step back. Because at the end of the day, the shine we're all chasing? It's not worth it if it comes at the cost of our peace. We deserve more than just exhaustion. We deserve a life that feels fulfilling, not just productive. It's time to rewrite the script and find our own version of success. It's hard to escape the feeling that we're living in a world on fire. Climate change, mass shootings, political polarization, social unrest, these aren't just headlines, they're the backdrop of our daily lives. For Gen Z, this isn't just a distant concern, it's a constant barrage of crises that we're bombarded with every time we scroll through our feeds. Imagine trying to plan your future while being told that the world might not have one. It's like trying to build a sandcastle while the tide is coming in. The anxiety is real. We're told to dream big, to chase our passions, but how can we do that when every day brings a new disaster? Social media plays a huge role in this. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it connects us, allows us to share our voices, and raises awareness about issues that matter. On the other hand, it's a relentless stream of negativity. We see graphic images, hear stories of tragedy, and witness the chaos unfolding in real time. It's overwhelming. Therapists are seeing this impact firsthand. Young people are experiencing chronic stress, even if they're not directly affected by these events. It's like we're all living in a state of hypervigilance. We're constantly on alert, waiting for the next crisis to hit. This can lead to burnout, anxiety, and a sense of hopelessness. We're also navigating a world where the future feels uncertain. The climate crisis looms large, and we're constantly reminded of the ticking clock. It's hard to think about long-term goals when the immediate future feels so precarious. We're told to save the planet, but how do we do that when we're still figuring out how to save ourselves? And let's not forget the political landscape. It's divisive, chaotic, and often feels like a circus. We're caught in the middle of a tug-of-war between ideologies, and it's exhausting. It's hard to engage in meaningful conversations when everyone seems to be shouting past each other. But amidst all this chaos, there's a flicker of hope. We're resilient. We're learning to advocate for ourselves and our communities. We're harnessing our collective power to push for change. We're not just passive observers, we're active participants in shaping the future we want to see. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to take a step back and breathe. We're all in this together, navigating a world that feels uncertain. And while the challenges are daunting, we have the power to create a narrative that's not just about survival, but about thriving. So, let's keep talking, keep sharing, and keep fighting for a better tomorrow. Because even in the midst of chaos, there's always a chance for change. And that's something worth holding on to. I want to talk about something that's been weighing heavily on my mind, mental health, especially among Gen Z. We're living in a time where anxiety, depression, and ADHD are at record highs. It's like we're all carrying this invisible backpack filled with worries, expectations, and pressures that just keep piling up. Let's break it down. Anxiety is no longer just a buzzword, it's a reality for so many of us. We're constantly bombarded with information, social media comparisons, and the pressure to succeed. It's exhausting. We scroll through our feeds, seeing curated lives that seem perfect, while we're grappling with our own insecurities. It's no wonder we feel anxious, it's like we're in a never-ending competition that nobody signed up for. Then there's depression. It's not just feeling sad, it's a deep, pervasive weight that can make even the simplest tasks feel monumental. Many of us feel isolated, even when we're surrounded by friends. The irony is that we're more connected than ever, yet we often feel more alone. We're told to reach out, to talk about our feelings, but when we do, we often meet with misunderstanding or, worse, stigma. ADHD is another layer to this complex issue. Many of us are navigating life with a brain that feels like it's constantly on overdrive. We struggle with focus, organization, and time management, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy. It's frustrating when you know you're capable but can't seem to get it together. And let's not forget the stigma that comes with it. Instead of understanding, we often face judgment, as if our struggles are just a lack of willpower. Access to therapy is a huge barrier for many in our generation. It's not just about finding a therapist, it's about affording one. The mental health system feels like a maze, and for those of us who need help the most, it can feel impossible to navigate. We're left to fend for ourselves, often resorting to coping mechanisms that aren't healthy. And then there's the productivity culture that permeates our lives. We're taught to hustle, to grind, to always be gone. This relentless push can make us feel guilty for taking a break or prioritizing our mental health. We internalize this pressure, thinking that if we're not constantly achieving, we're somehow failing. It's a toxic cycle that only deepens our feelings of shame and guilt. So, what do? We need to start normalizing these conversations. It's okay to not be okay. We need to support each other, to create spaces where we can share our struggles without fear of judgment. Mental health isn't just a personal issue, it's a collective one. By breaking down the stigma and advocating for better access to mental health resources, we can start to lift that weight off our shoulders. Let's be real, mental health is just as important as physical health. We need to prioritize it, not just for ourselves but for each other. It's time to redefine what success looks like and to embrace the messy, complicated reality of being human. We're all in this together, and together, we can make a difference. Burnout is a term we hear a lot these days, but what does it really mean? It's more than just feeling tired, it's a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. And let's face it, in our fast-paced world, it's become a cultural issue. So, how do we break this cycle? Let's dive into some practical tips first. Let's talk about setting clear work-life boundaries. This is crucial. When you clock out, really clock out. Turn off those work notifications and resist the urge to check emails after hours. Create a physical separation if you can. Designate a workspace that you leave at the end of the day. This simple act can help you mentally shift from work mode to personal time. Next up is sleep. Prioritizing sleep isn't just about getting enough hours, it's about quality too. Aim for a consistent sleep schedule. Create a bedtime routine that helps you wind down. Maybe it's reading a book or practicing some light stretching. Sleep is your body's way of resetting, and without it, you're setting yourself up for burnout. Movement is another key player in this game. Regular physical activity can do wonders for your mental health. It doesn't have to be an intense workout, even a brisk walk can boost your mood and energy levels. Find something you enjoy, dancing, yoga, or even gardening. The goal is to get your body moving and your blood flowing. Now, let's address social media. Taking breaks from social media can be incredibly refreshing. It's easy to get caught up in the highlight reels of others' lives, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy and stress. Consider a digital detox, maybe a weekend without scrolling. Use that time to reconnect with yourself or engage in hobbies that bring you joy, and normalizing asking for help is essential. We often feel like we have to handle everything on our own, but that's a myth. Whether it's reaching out to a friend, a family member, or a professional, seeking support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Remember, everyone experiences tough times, and sharing your struggles can lighten the load. Lastly, let's rethink success. In a culture that often equates success with busyness, it's time to redefine what it means to be successful. Success isn't just about climbing the corporate ladder or achieving accolades, it's about finding balance and fulfillment in your life. Celebrate small wins, prioritize your well-being, and remember that it's okay to take a step back. Burnout is a serious issue, but with these practical tips, we can start to break the cycle. By setting boundaries, prioritizing sleep and movement, taking breaks from social media, asking for help, and redefining success, we can create a healthier, more sustainable approach to our lives. Let's make these changes together and support one another in this journey. If you're in your 20s and feeling that weight of burnout, I want you to take a deep breath and just pause for a moment. You're not broken. You're navigating a world that often feels like it demands too much from you. The truth is, we live in a society that glorifies hustle culture, where the idea of being constantly productive is celebrated. But let's be real, this isn't sustainable. Your 20s are a time of exploration, growth, and yes, even rest. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that if you're not constantly achieving, you're somehow falling behind. But here's the thing, everyone's journey is unique. Just because someone else seems to have it all figured out doesn't mean you should be on the same path. Burnout isn't a badge of honor, it's a signal that something needs to change. It's okay to step back and reassess what you truly want. Maybe it's time to prioritize your mental health over that next promotion or social media milestone. Remember, you are allowed to rest. You don't have to keep pushing yourself to the brink. Living softer doesn't mean you're giving up, it means you're choosing to honor your well-being. It's about finding balance between work and play, ambition and relaxation. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you that it's okay to take a break. And let's not forget the beauty of simple moments, like laughter with friends, a walk in nature, or just enjoying a quiet morning. These are the things that recharge us, that remind us of what truly matters. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back. Reflect on what you need right now. You are not behind. Burnout is not your destiny. Embrace the journey, and remember that living softer can lead to a more fulfilling life. Your 20s should be a time of discovery, not a breaking point. Choose to nurture yourself, and you'll find that the path ahead is much brighter.